Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spiritual Journey podcast. My name is Nimesh Radia, and I'm your host. I always love starting every episode by saying thank you. I feel so blessed with this podcast, the people it reaches, the impact it's having. I'll always, my intention was really to guide people on their spiritual journey and to simplify spirituality. And with the messages I get on a weekly basis, it's clearly having that impact. I feel very much it's channeled, guided. It's my way of giving back. And I love doing it. So thank you. If this is your first episode, welcome. If you've listened to many, then thank you for your support. Thank you for allowing me to guide you. I am an Akashic record reader, Akashic trainer, podcast host, podcast creator, as well as a spiritual coach and mentor. And I love what I get to do. I get to hold people's space while they're going through a shift, normally through mentorship, or it could be through Akashic record reading or this podcast. So many people are going through a shift, and so much is happening on the planet. And for those that are ready, I get to hold their space and really guide them through the shift. Everything you need is inside you, but sometimes you need somebody to intuitively connect to you and guide you to you. And for me, it's always a soul contract. So if I'm meant to work with somebody, they'll find me, and I really have faith in that. With this podcast, I also get to interview some amazing, amazing guests, and I'm excited to have Lina on the podcast today. I've known Lina for a few years, and I've always known her to be a light. I've always felt her energy to be really light, and honestly, we've talked about her being on this podcast for a couple of years now, probably. But there's a divine timing to it all, right? So I'm excited to have Lina on the episode today. And Lina, I'd love for you to introduce yourself in whatever words come to your heart.
Lina, I've been a wellness ambassador for 27 years now, empowering wellness with yoga and holistic practices, and just showing people whatever works for them and finding the right thing for them, as well as finding the right thing for myself, and using these tools, these strategies every single day, maybe in a moment where really it has saved my life in so many ways. And I just want to do that for other people. And like you, whoever I'm meant to be teaching, empowering, whatever it is, maybe it's even a smile or saying a word that maybe they need to hear. And that's the divine that's coming through, sometimes just allowing that to come through for that person to hear, because we are all connected, we're all one, and it's an honor. I'm so thankful to be able to do that for other people, to really show them that they're beautiful, they're amazing, they can be and do and have anything they want in their life, the same as the universe has actually shown me that everything is a possibility. And when things are not all sunshine, rainbows, flowers, there's a learning in there for me and to grow. And sometimes it's not easy. However, I'm so fortunate. It's not however, actually, I am so fortunate that the universe has given me so many tools that I can use for myself and guide my family, my friends, my students to whatever it is they need. And sometimes it's saying nothing as well. So I'm very, very grateful to be here as well. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to share.
Beautiful. You're more than welcome. And, it's really interesting, divine timing. And I'm curious, you mentioned, 27 years and different modalities. And I'm just curious about you sharing more about your journey, kind of what modalities you've learned and how things are evolving. I mean, for me, energetically right now, it feels like we've been working lifetimes for what the planet is going through right now. And it's like, especially in this life, we've had to go through so much to get to this point. All the stories you hear and everything else, it's just like, but I feel like the energy right now is shifting in a different sort of way. So I'm curious, kind of your journey and what you're finding in the current life and your current energy, whatever's happening in your world.
Well, when I was 4, I had a near-death experience. I was not meant to survive. I was very ill, in and out of hospital, and the doctors had already told my parents that I wasn't going to survive the morning. And my mum was an avid Sai Baba devotee, and I was meant to be in a program, and I think they cancelled. And that night, I saw Sai Baba in the window, and the next morning, my body was covered in grey ash, and everything had healed, but they'd already cut me open by that time. And then 10 years old, my parents decided to move to the States. They bought a business. We traveled from school, and I'd been to so many schools. They lost all their money, came back to the UK. And then it just felt very traumatizing. And I had no tools, no one to say it's going to be okay. So the question was, am I going to be okay? And then my father had been diagnosed with cancer, and he passed away. And it was, I think, the icing on the cake when he passed, because I just did not know how to handle any of it. We had a huge debt, and I was responsible for paying off that debt. My mum wasn't working. So I got my law degree, went to law school. I had to resit one exam, but I managed to get a job in a law firm. I had to start at the bottom, and they fired me, and I hit rock bottom. And I didn't know how to, I couldn't leave my house. I was spiraling with this one thing in my mind is, how am I going to pay this debt off? Who's going to hire me? I've been fired. And then because we used to go to Budgeon, Suxon, they knew that I hadn't been going. So somebody came to see me, and the first time in my life I received some healing. And that was it. It was literally minutes. It felt like somebody just took me and wrapped me. And in that moment, that question, am I going to be okay, got answered. I'm okay. And I just surrendered. And I thought the next morning I'd be dead, because I actually thought I wasn't going to survive the morning, because I was in so much, I don't know if you can call it pain or despair, but I just did not know how to come out of this. And that was my start to my wellness journey. And I started looking for answers, traveling the world. And as soon as I received this healing, the shift in this surrender, I got 3 job offers. I never wanted to get married or have children. Yet I met my husband. My mum said, oh, there's this guy. And I'm like, here we go. But I said, okay. And I didn't even speak to him. And I knew I was going to spend the rest of my life with him. That's not understanding what it is. It's quite powerful, right? And then again, and for about, I would say 6 months, I was on this high. I made this decision that I'm just going to be happy. I don't care what happens. I don't know how this debt's going to get paid. I just decided to be happy, and everything shifted, and I started manifesting these amazing things. But what happened 6 months later is I went back to being my old self, and I didn't know how to get back to that time. So I was on a search to find out what was it. And having been on this journey, traveling the world, attending retreats, workshops, reading books, I've done a 360-degree turn where I've returned. And I'm not saying it's all sunshine and roses. All I'm saying is now I know I've got some tools that I use all the time to help me just center myself, to come back to myself. And I'm okay. I really am okay. And I'm not saying that it's not easy. My husband, he has been for the last 6 years. We've been like apart. He's been in another country. I've been in the UK because I've been here with my daughter. And these tools that I have transformed my life. And this is what I teach in my classes, is
So
you
powerful.
can have this too. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be complicated. It could be a breath. It could be something you say to yourself, or you could go deeper. It doesn't matter.
I
So,
love it.
yeah. So for me, and as you're in this journey, I've met you, I've met Reshma. You meet all these beautiful people, and you meet those people that are there to challenge you, that you have to learn from
100%.
that. And it's okay. Before maybe I would have got distraught or distressed, and I'm not saying that, sometimes I have tried, when the pandemic hit the first time, I was here for 8 months. I couldn't get back to Indonesia. I couldn't get back to Malaysia. I had been separated from my husband for 8 months. And thank God for technology that I could speak to him for even a few minutes a day. I'm very grateful for technology that I could do that and use these tools to keep me sane in that time. But even being here for the last 4 years, I've learned so much about business, and I've met so many people. I've had podcasting opportunities, and I've met so many women that are in business that are really doing really, really well, and just so much more. And now I'm going to be going back, is knowing that it's okay. Everything is okay.
I love it. I should be on a t-shirt somewhere. Everything is okay. I couldn't agree more. Part of the objective of this podcast is to simplify spirituality. I'm not saying, as you say, I'm not saying it's not hard, but it doesn't have to be complicated. We love our labels, right? We love whatever, and it's just like, even when you were going through your story, and it's like, I was thinking Dark Night of the Soul, it's like, as a 4-year-old, it's kind of hard to experience it, but it feels like you've been through a few cycles of the Dark Night, right? Where every facet of you had to go, and that's the only way I could describe it. But somewhere along the line, even though the human in you felt it was time, you started work to do. And I got goosebumps when you were sharing your stories, and it was like, the 4-year-old, she had to go through what she had to go through, and Sai Baba coming through, and then you being at home and somebody coming to your home. That's for me how the universe works to support you. But there is an element of surrender, right? There is an element of totally letting go and allowing the universe to support you. And it's just, it's easy for us to say, right? But for me, it's that surrender
Yes.
that allows, and just basically saying, okay, you know what? The human in me that has all these expectations, the human's done. But as soon as the human's done in that kind of way, but it's open to receive, the universe is like, okay, we've got you.
Yeah.
And, you have from those darkest moments, the biggest epiphanies. And I'm not saying that's true for everybody. But I do feel in this lifetime, we've had to go through a lot. And it's because
okay.
it's okay. That's your
Yeah,
phrase, actually. You should do that on a t-shirt. It's
it's
okay.
absolutely. I'm not, like I say, it's not easy sometimes. I mean, I feel like I've been a single parent for the last 4 years.
Well, you have, technically, right?
Yes, yeah. And I'm not saying I'm the best parent. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
Who
But
decides that?
I just know that I'm taken care of.
And
And
that's the
that
powerful
means,
part.
no matter where I am, what I'm doing, there's no doubt, no nothing. Faith, trust, the universe is going to send me the right people. And I am very grateful that I was here, because my mum was with me for that first year. And I had that experience when she passed. I would not have had that experience if I was in Indonesia or Malaysia, and not having a knowing that the thing is, we read about these things about we are all one. We have this feeling, but when you experience that, when I experienced that light, I can't even explain to you what it was, but in that moment, I knew nothing matters.
Powerful.
In that moment, I knew that there is no such thing as death. In that moment, I knew that we are all God. I am God. Everything is God. We're not separated. And whether he, she, whatever you want to call it, is there to support you in every moment. We've just forgotten. And that
Very
could
powerful.
only come, and that showed me how far I've come in my journey. And just before that, I had this conversation with my mom about forgiveness, that you're ready to go forgive everybody. And I have a belief about forgiveness that when you practice so much forgiveness, you realize, oh, I created this in the first place. A lot of people will have a problem with, why would I create that? My mom did. She said to me, why would I create all of this? And I said, you have, and it's okay. You now are ready to go. It's okay to go. It's time to just let it go. Forgiveness is let it go.
Powerful.
Give it to God. Give it, you believe God is here. Give it to your God. And
Yeah. Yeah.
she had the most beautiful passing.
So can you share more about the experience you had with your mom, if you don't mind?
So she was my very first student, actually, in that I was on this journey learning about myself. And if you think I had it bad, she had it really tough. She married at 11. In those days, they married young, and she got married, she had children, and then she had to leave them. And then she got married to my dad and had me. And so there were so many stories. I had stories, she had stories. And as I was on this journey, I was married then, and I went to stay. She had 3 heart attacks. And the conversation was just to go to what we used to have, like gossiping, and this happened. And I said, stop. Do you know you've been given a second chance? Is this how you're going to live your life? And so she stopped and she went, what do you mean? I said, you can either understand that your God has always given you what you've wanted. You have always had the thing, you've always had a roof over your head, food on your plate. But every time something would happen, the universe sends us something. This time, I wasn't there. I was actually in California, but there's someone to help her, to rush her to hospital. My mom lived on her own. She had 3 fractured hips. When she fractured her hip, sorry, not 3, fractured her hip, and she was on her own. Because of her community, she picked up the phone, rang somebody came, rang the police, the door was taken down, they took her to hospital. She rang my husband and said, I'm going to hospital. Every time she has needed someone, even up until the last point, when the last time she was in hospital, or the second to last, one of her friend's son came and was with her, made sure the ambulance took her. And not only that, she was sick, and he cleaned up the sick. So
Wow.
our conversation after the 3 heart attacks was about gratitude and how the universe always provided. Even it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it's easy when you're going through what you're going through, of course, but to know that you are supported. If you just ask for the support, the universe delivers. So that was my conversation with her. So when she actually passed, I felt peace. I didn't really cry. I felt so much peace. I felt so thankful that I got to be here in that final year, to be with her and spend time with her. And the speech that I made at her funeral was all about, at the end, is be grateful for people in your life. Resolve your issues. Take responsibility. If you've done something, take responsibility. Apologize. Make it right. Because all you leave behind is really, you don't take anything with you.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
it was the most beautiful thing. The only time I shed a tear was when it actually was going through, when it was being cremated. But otherwise, and the strength, it wasn't even strength actually, because I felt the peace. I could do the funeral arrangements, my mum, whatever she wished for, support my siblings, because their relationship with her was very different, because they were her children that she left behind.
Yeah. So there was healing for them to do.
So for me, I was to, as much as I could support them at that time, I was able to support them. And also, in our Indian culture, we have all these rituals. And because I had that experience, my sister-in-law said to me, "Will you light a candle? Will you do this?" I said, "No, I'm not doing any of that, because she's still here. And what I will do is, when I meditate, I will pray. I'll pray for her. And I know that she's in a beautiful space. I will pray for you. I will pray for us, because this is a time for us to let her go, and for us to just, and we as siblings, I think we just handled it beautifully. No
Isn't it?
squabbles, no disagreements. Even though I wanted a simple funeral, she's their mom too, so
Yeah.
they should do it the way they want. There's no right or wrong way. So
Yeah.
I respect. There was respect and so much love, and
I love it. So
it was
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah, and it's always harder for those left behind, right? The humans. Then there's no right or wrong way to grieve. I mean, who decides that? I was a different person, but maybe it was 17, 18 years ago, mum passed away. And I remember I was actually on a cruise. You mentioned Reshma earlier, she's my sister. So me and Resh were on the cruise. My younger sister, everyone else is older. And I had one friend there, and brother Resh's husband was there. And it's just, we were just leaving the dock, and we knew that something was wrong with mum. We just knew, right? There was something inside us. And
Yes.
even when I left for the cruise, I left from Leicester. It's interesting. The last few years, I live in London. Mum lived in an area called Leicester, but I just happened to get a job near Leicester. So I had this last couple of years where a few nights a week I would stay at mum's, and that
Oh,
was such a
lovely.
blessing too. But it's like the morning of the cruise, she was not well, and I knew that. And I was like, "Mum, I'm just going to change the dates and whatever," because we had a few days in Miami before. She's like, "No, no, I always get ill, and I always recover." And it's like I left, and there's always a part of me that previously would have been like so angry with myself. But we went on this cruise. We were at sea, so limited as what we could do. But we got the phone call. We're on the phone, and we got told that she's not going to make it. And when she was going in for the operation, it was a relatively simple operation. It was in her stomach, but there's something that happened. Stomach got perforated, and she'd always said that she never wants to be in a place where she can't look after herself. And there's part of her that knew, with whatever had happened, that 6 months she'd need bed rest and care. And I really feel like it was her decision to go. But we were on the cruise. I was so angry because I wasn't there when Dad passed away, which was over 30 years ago. He was in India. He was on holiday, and I wasn't there when Mum passed away. So I was so angry with God. And I've told this story on this podcast before, but I just happened to be on a cruise with Bob Proctor, Marianne Williamson. It's like one of those where when you're at sea, you listen to the talks, and when you're docked, you go and enjoy. And so Bob Proctor obviously heard, and he then asked for a private audience with us. So we went to his chalet room, whatever, which was, and he took the time, which I really glad he did. And he asked me, he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "You know what? I'm really angry." And he said to me, he's like, "Look, just remember you are where you're meant to be." And it's like, I'm sure my family got so annoyed with that phrase, but it was that one phrase that it helped me to understand I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And with the work I've done with Mum afterwards, she said that if me or Resh were there, she wouldn't have been able to leave. So we weren't meant to be there. And, and I always thought she'd be annoyed, and she always had this kind of image of me of leading a program life, and she was worried that I wasn't married and not have kids and all that sort of stuff. But it's interesting, when I connected with her in the other realm, she wasn't worried about any of that stuff. She knew that I was on this path. The only her request to me was, you know what, keep the family together.
Oh, and you
So,
do. You
yeah,
absolutely, you do. That's the beauty. When I've always come to your place, like the Christmas, you have this
yeah.
beautiful energy that you
Thank you.
absolutely do, and I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've always known, in some way I'm leading the family matrix. I've always known that I've got to, it's all about creating the magic moments. And it's actually, I've got 4 brothers, 4 sisters, but for me, it's actually about creating a connection with all the next generation
Amazing.
and making sure that they know they have an extended family. And, 10 nephews, 3 nieces, they all have such a beautiful relationship. And I have a beautiful connection with them too. I've always created time with them. And actually, part of the reason I have this conversation with my nephews all the time, where if I'd led a program life, if I'd got married, had my own kids, I wouldn't have that relationship with my nephews and nieces. So I understand my role. I understand the journey that I've taken. I'm not meant to lead a program life. I won't be doing this. I'd still be in the corporate world if I was. So it's as you say, as you start to take a step back, you look at the bigger picture, you realize that, as you say, it's all okay. I mean, it's interesting, right? The British thing is like, when you ask, how are you doing? Most people say, yeah, I'm okay. But it's like, the energy of it is like really deadpan, and it's like, and it's like, are you really okay? But when you say it, there's a different energy to it. It's like, yeah, it's like
I
the word
believe
okay.
it. Yeah,
The word okay has such a different vibration depending on who says it, right?
yeah, I really, really believe it, and I think it's 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 been interesting time for me. I've
Interesting. That's a
grown.
good word.
Yeah, I've grown, and I've learnt lots. I've done things that I think, not quite right, and it's okay. And again, it's okay. And I've done things that are really amazing. But you won't know if you don't go and do them, what's going to work and for the last 4 years I've been here, I've run Facebook ads, I've done networking, and what I've come back to is really teach yoga. That's my tribe.
It's so simple. Show up with what your gift is
Yeah,
and what you enjoy doing, right? Because you love yoga.
yeah,
I've seen your
yes.
videos, and it's like, so
Exactly. Doing Facebook, social media. I do like doing the yoga classes, and I do like social media because I think, wow, whoever reads this is going to be empowered,
yeah. And
and
the trick is
I
not to worry
feel
about
like,
numbers, right?
yeah, wow, okay, it takes a bit of effort and it does take time, that's for sure. Maybe don't enjoy that so much, but I do love the fact that, I get to do this. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And when I do teach, I mean, being in the UK, I wouldn't have even thought about teaching meditation to people that don't meditate, because that's what I was asked to teach. And this is the third year this class is actually running. And whether it's a holiday, whatever, I've always got students in my class because I can see that they benefit from it and they've had so many benefits from it. So, yeah, I think this is what I'm going to teach when I go back and tell them, look, I've got these resources for you if you want them or not. This is what I can do for you. And if not, they're coming to the class. So, either way, it's a win win, right?
So true. And it's just, that's what we can do. And I was talking to you a bit earlier about my deal with God is I'm just going to keep showing up in my guides. I'm just going to keep showing up. Whoever else shows up on the other side, I have no control over. Whoever
No.
listens to the podcast, I have no control over. Whoever joins my lives, I have no control over. I do, full moon webinars once a month. Whoever shows up, I have no control over. So I've kind of let go of, but actually it's so beautiful because I feel like people are guided to me. Like this conversation, every time we'd meet, I'm like, whenever you're ready, it's okay. There's no rush. And I knew that at some point we'd join and
Do it.
let go. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
I mean, I could have, got hung up on. Did she really want to go? I, with love, I don't really care, if that makes sense,
Yes.
because it's not on me. I've let go of all that responsibility, and it's just, I'll just keep showing up, like the meditation circle I had this week. It's like, I'm just going to keep whoever's there, and it's like, it's at home, so I can't try and keep it small. 20 people registered. Only, for whatever reason, only 11 people showed up. But 11 is a magic number. It's like, okay, great. It's such a powerful session. It's just, if we let go of our expectations and just be, and be okay. I love I call it just be. If we just be, then
Yeah.
magic can happen, right? So,
Magic
look at
can
everything you've
happen.
been through, right? There's so many places you could have given up. I mean, you got stuck in the UK during the crazy, and for me, lockdown, just before lockdown, everyone was like, oh my God, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time. And for most of us, Mother Nature's like, okay, I got you. I'm going to give you lots of time. I'm going to send you all to the naughty corner. You can either heal, or you can do the work, or you don't. And I know there's, essential workers and stuff, and a lot of people still had to work, but most of us got time, and whatever we did is right. There's no right or wrong to this, right? But I feel like, 2018, 2019, before all that was the beginning of a cycle. And we kind
Yeah.
of coming to the end of that cycle. And, you had 8 months without your husband, and you didn't plan for that, right? It wasn't like you knew that lockdown was going to happen and all of a sudden you were stuck here. You couldn't go back to your home. And again, there was a journey there. And even the last few years for you, your daughter was here, so you chose to be here with your daughter. And, it's just, the way you just embraced your journey and just accepted whatever's happening. I'm sure there was times you were frustrated because you're human, but you just embraced it, and that's powerful.
I
It's a
think
great
more
message for
than,
everybody.
yeah, I think more than frustrated, um, there were times when I'd wake up in the morning and I realize, oh, my husband's not next to me. And I'd say, oh, okay, I'm here. And then I just realized that if we were all together, like you said, if you had a family,
Yeah,
I would not have been able to work on my business.
everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't have met some amazing women that are doing really well. Maybe I wouldn't have done podcasts.
Who
I,
knows?
yeah, I don't know, but I do know that, and it was actually one of my closest, she's my soul sister, and she is a side devote, her dad is, and her dad always said that you will always be taken care of, whereas I never was. And when she said that to me, I'm taken care of. That I am very sure of. I mean, to survive what I did at 4 years old, and also I'm meant to do something in this life, leave a legacy where people can be well in their life. There's an answer for you. You just have to find it. And that does
That's
take
powerful.
courage.
It takes courage. I feel like it also takes acceptance. And you talked about your story with your mom and everything you've been through. And I have the conversation so often where, I'll talk about everything in the external world is a result of something in the internal world that you've agreed, the soul contracts in your world. And sometimes it's really hard to take. Because if you're going through a painful experience, like you were talking about with your mom and everything you've been through, it's like, wait, you're telling me I asked for this? And I trigger people when I say that, because it's like, why would I ask for this amount of pain? It's like, why would I? And it is hard, right? But it is, ultimately, we have so much karma to release, personal, ancestral, and everything we've gone through is something that we've contracted. And,
Yeah.
you know, I truly believe, as you say, I'm always supported, I'm always held, and I'm never going to be given anything I can't handle. Doesn't mean that it's not challenging. Didn't say that. I didn't say it was, but anything you're given, I truly believe, because your guides can't stop you going through the human experience, right? If your human experience is meant to be painful, your guides can't. But what your guides can do is send you people when you need the most. Like you had the example of, Sai Baba coming up, and that guy, somebody's coming to your house and saying, well, how come you're not coming to budgets and stuff? And when you're open to it, the universe supports you in its own unique way because you're
Sometimes you don't
so,
have a choice.
yeah. Well, that's the other thing is,
Sometimes you just, when you have hit rock bottom, and I hit rock bottom, there was nowhere for me to, I lost my dad. We didn't have any money. There was a point, when they lost their money, we didn't have money for food,
yeah. And that's,
and when there is nothing and you've hit rock bottom, you have to surrender. And it's scary because it's unknown. But when you just say, that's it, I,
yeah.
that's it, I'm letting go.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you say you have to surrender. I don't know if you have to. It's that,
I
it is
had
that
to.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt
I
like
feel
I
like you
just
chose
couldn't
to,
hold
for
on
sure.
I just couldn't do
Yeah.
it any longer.
And
And
that's what a dark night of the soul looks like. I mean, if you want to give it a label, it's every facet of you is gone. There's nothing
nothing
left.
left.
You have nothing left to give.
No.
And a dark night of the soul for me isn't like a one-time thing. It's like it might happen multiple times, in your world. But again, even in your deepest, and this is maybe a question for the listeners, go back to your deepest, darkest moment, and if you're honest with yourself, what support did you get to get out of it? And if you could be honest with how much support did you get from the other realm, how much support did you get from the human realm, and if you're going through something now, then are you open to people helping you? Are you open to the universe sending somebody to hold your space?
And you have to ask for that help.
Yeah.
When you ask, they'll come running.
Yeah. It's interesting. Our programming says it's a sign of weakness to ask for help. But for this time, when I talk about the shifting from divine masculine to divine feminine, I feel like this is a time for community. This is a time for you to open your world to new souls. Because I feel like the phase we're in, our circle somehow had to get smaller for us to go through the shifts. But we're now entering into a phase, if you're open to it, it is more about the community. It is more about those safe spaces, which is why I started doing the meditation circle at home too. It's like, I just felt it was time to open the space up for more community stuff. So I'm curious, what are you finding with the clients in your world? And
So for me,
what-
when I was in Indonesia, so what had happened as me being on this journey, and when we moved to Indonesia, I had no idea what I was going to do. I went there to support my husband's dream because he had traveled for 11 years and he said it's an amazing life. And having trust in the universe, my son was going to start high school. I said, let's just go. And we went. And I sprained my ankle. My ankle was this big, so I couldn't work out. And I did yoga for 30 days and combined my knowledge of yoga with holistic practices. And my ankle healed. And then I spoke to my yoga teacher, and that's when I started writing a blog about wellness. And she goes, you should teach meditation. I went, okay. And that's how I started teaching meditation. I didn't actually go to learn meditation. I created something with the universe guiding me. And from that came somebody who asked me to become their mentor. So I created a mentoring program. And from that, I used to get students. And they used to just come, like you say, they just come. Moved to Malaysia, just about to start, and then the pandemic hit. I was here for 8 months, couldn't get back to Malaysia. And so I had to just be flexible. So I just started doing things that I could. So started connecting with people on Instagram, LinkedIn, and then obviously being here for the last year. So me building students was when somebody said to me, can I teach meditation to people who don't meditate? I had no idea what I was going to teach, because how do you teach people to sit still who don't sit still, right? Because people's idea of sitting still is nuts. So I created a class where now you're moving in a meditative way, but slower. We do something called yoga nidra, which is yogic sleep. with a meditation, and then I tell them to use whatever they learn in their life. And that's what they do. So for
powerful.
me, when and one of my students has come off his blood pressure medicine after 20 odd years. And you know what? He didn't even tell me. His wife comes to my class and she says, I really want my husband to come. I said, when he's ready. You be the example. You show him. I did not realize the family comes to my class, the daughter and the husband. And her husband, you know, his smile is so bright. And I said, oh, I didn't know he was your husband. And she stayed behind one class and she said, I'm so grateful to you. Thank you. And I said, of course, you're welcome. I love. She goes, you don't understand. That's my husband. He's come off his blood pressure medicine after 28 years.
Wow. Just shows you the power.
So that's my journey. That's brought me like full circle. Like I should just teach yoga meditation. Really, this is what I should be doing. And then if
Yeah.
people want to learn more from me, the right people will come to me, like
And
they did in
yeah,
Indonesia.
100%. I mean, for me, like I said, this podcast, most of my clients come from this podcast, and it's my way of giving back. It's not a hard sell. There's no advertising, there's no sponsors or whatever. And it's just, life is so simple. But feels like you had to go through the human experience of trying to push your business, Facebook ads, because the human in you is like, there's so many experts out there, I must, learn from it. And it's just like, well, I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong, but it may not be right for you. So, but unless you go through that human experience, you'd never know, right? So, but you come full circle, right? You come full circle, and
I've done full circle. And
it's
so
interesting.
now going back to Malaysia, we were going to go to Indonesia, but we're going back to Malaysia just teach and tell people about what I do, and the people that are meant to learn will come. They'll come. I'm very, very 100%, without a doubt. I just have so much faith and trust. With everything that I have been through, I am still here.
And it's that word surrender, right?
Yes.
And it's okay.
It's absolutely amazing if
And
you can
ultimately,
indeed surrender.
and you can be anywhere in the world, right? People can find you. We're not as tied to a physical location. And who knows how long you're going to be in Malaysia? Who knows where I don't know where. For example, I love Ubud in Bali, right? It's one of my favorite. I could imagine being there for 6 months of the year, and who knows? Who knows, right?
Right. If you told me how many years now, 30 odd years ago, if you told me that I would be married, 2 children, teaching wellness, I would have laughed, because I wanted to be a lawyer. And I think beyond paying my dad's debt off, I didn't even know beyond that what I wanted, because it was a whirlwind where all I saw was this tragedy. Then my dad got cancer, and then he's left his huge debt. That was my conversation, is how am I going to pay this debt off? How am I going to pay this debt off? But the universe had a different plan for me.
But sometimes the universe needs to keep you busy, which is why, the law
Well, it certainly
degree,
has done that.
the law degree and all that sort of stuff is like, well, let's do some healing behind the scenes, but we need to keep it busy. How can we do that? Okay,
Well, I
yeah,
didn't
let's give us
like
some.
it. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I worked in a law firm after I went to law school, and I've always been about helping people. I worked with the Citizens Advice Bureau, and that advice and whatever, it was about helping people to just help them. And when I worked for a law firm, it's completely different. And so, I would have carried on, but it was my husband who said, you're not happy, leave. Nobody in my life ever said to me, you're not happy, leave. That was a very novel concept. He is a blessing, honestly, in my life, because we're completely opposite. And he is this bright light that has come into my life to show me a different way. We're so opposite. We like different things. Our values are the same. And because of the way he is, my life became an adventure.
So
Too
powerful.
much sometimes, I would say. So
I mean, all our lives are adventure. It depends on how much you're ready to take, right?
I would like some stability now. But I would say that if any one of you out there are listening and you might be in despair right now, or you might feel that there's no sunshine at the end of the tunnel, there's no light, but there is.
It's really interesting. I was just about to ask you if there's anyone that's listening that maybe is going through real darkness, what would your advice be? And you started answering that question. Any other kind of
Faith, to have trust, to have belief. And if you can't do that, sometimes in my class I talk about self-love, and we have these huge mirrors. I get them to look at themselves because everyone wants to look at themselves in the mirror on a Sunday morning. We all love it, don't we, really? And I say we all love it, but nobody loves looking at themselves. And I get them to look at themselves, check in with themselves. What are they thinking? And we do this affirmation. People that are new, we just bring our fingers and thumbs together. If they then close their eyes, I ask them to make a list once they've relaxed of everybody they love, everything and everyone they love. Are they on that list? And if
powerful?
they are on their list, where are they? I tell them to put them on the top of the list. And how do you do that? When you're in despair, when you're not feeling love, I teach them this affirmation, and it's something you can anchor in. It's just bringing fingers and thumbs together and reminding yourself that love begins with me. Now I am love. Love begins with me. Now I am love. Anytime they feel criticism, anytime they feel judgment, anytime they feel so sad, to remember love. And if they can't feel that love for themselves, to think of someone or something that they love so much and to feel that for themselves. And when they feel that for themselves, it just changes the whole thing, because you feel everything is okay, because you feel that love is the thing that we want when we buy things. Why do we
Yeah,
buy things? We want to feel good. Why do we have experiences? Because we love to have those
yeah.
experiences. So when we love ourselves, we can love others. And we are kidding ourselves. If you don't like yourself, you will never like anyone.
It's so true. So true. And the mirror is such an interesting thing because it's like I teach mirror work too. And the way I describe mirror work is you have to fall in love with you on the inside. And if you're uncomfortable looking at yourself, then, I'll always say, they say the eyes are windows to the soul, right? So look into your eyes and just start to connect with that version of you and say, I always recommend just say, I love you.
And it's weird. It
It's
is
just,
weird. It's
and
weird because
yeah,
if you're
it's
nobody's
not
taught
natural, right? It doesn't
us.
feel natural. Yeah.
Nobody, because our parents don't know how to love themselves. So how will they teach us?
Yeah.
They're only going to teach us what they know and how to be.
100%.
So
And
how can
ultimately,
they
yeah.
know? So
And I
when
feel
my
like,
mum had the bypass surgery,
yeah,
I said to her, love your stitches.
it's
Love
part
the
of you.
surgeon who did the
Yeah.
surgery. Love the fact that you have this bed. Love the fact that you're here and you're taking care.
Yeah.
Love all of it, because love will heal. And my mum healed herself in months, and then she went to India on holiday.
Yeah.
That's the power. That's the power. So for anyone listening, if you're in despair, if you're not feeling good in yourself, do this simple thing. And yes, it's going to be weird at the beginning. It's this affirmation that love begins with me. Now I am love. When you feel that for yourself, things will shift.
So powerful.
And not just once, you need to keep telling yourself, because the mind believes everything you tell it. So if you tell it, you're in despair, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're fed up, then guess what? That's a record that
Yeah.
plays. You
Self-fulfilling
have to
prophecy.
tell a different story. You have to, and even when you don't want to be enthusiastic about it, you have to find a way to fall in love with what's going on.
Yeah.
And, being thankful is another way. If you have a roof over your head, food on your plate, clothes, shoes, all of this, you have a lot. This is the thing that I didn't know when my dad was diagnosed, when I was going through my trauma, is to remind myself, I have this. Both my parents were chefs, so I got really nice food. Did I appreciate any of that? No. When my dad was diagnosed with cancer, all we focused on was the fact that he was going to die.
Yeah. And that was the old version of you, and that's okay too, right? And it's just
Yes, it's okay. All I'm saying is that wherever you are, you can change it, shift it, and it all starts with a thought, one thought at a time. Give yourself a break. You may not understand it straight away. You have to practice. It takes 21 days for a habit to form. A baby who learns to walk does not walk straight away. It crawls and it falls and it cries and but it eventually starts running and walking and looking in the cupboards and taking saucepans out and whatever.
and annoying the parents.
Yes, exactly. So all I know from my experience is, again, don't believe a word I tell you, is love you and everything changes.
I love it. I'll always say, whatever the question, the answer is always love. And it's interesting. It's like, for so many of us, we're willing to go to the gym and kind of work on our physical body, but I don't know what the resistance is of working on our inside, right? And it's just like, and the repetition is so important. You can't go to the gym and have a six pack in the first session, right? So it's like you've got to. It's repetition is the mother of skill, as Tony Robbins would say. It's just,
Yes.
the thing to remember that everybody in your life, your blood family, etc., are here to expand you, but only you can make the changes in you. You can't, you're working against centuries and centuries of programming, which says you need to put everybody else first and all the rest of it. But you have to put in the effort for you, because when you do that, you're meeting the universe halfway, and the universe is like, okay, great. I'm ready to meet you the other half. I'm even more than half. You just need to take that step. And even doing that simple exercise that Lina took us through just now, just do that for 21 days. And you're sending such a powerful message to yourself and to your guys and to the universe. Then I'm willing to prioritize me. And as soon as you do that and you surrender, the universe has got your back if you're open to it.
And it's not selfish.
It's the opposite of selfish, actually, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Right now, you have to be, if you don't put yourself first, you're dimming your light and you're not inspiring other people. And if you've got kids, what example are you setting them?
Yep. And I also would say love does not mean that you're a walking doormat either.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Right? Because people mistake for, oh, you're love and light and, oh, I'm able to walk over. Love means you will say no when it's the time to say no. No explanation, no nothing. You say no because that just means, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. I mean, that could be another whole episode, right? I mean,
Yes.
My kindness isn't my weakness. If I go out of my way for somebody, it's because I'm doing it for me. I'm not having any expectations, but if somebody doesn't respect me, then sure, that's your decision and I'm done, right?
That's it. You don't have to be rude.
No, 100%.
I used to feel I had to be aggressive because my beliefs were like, not that I thought I'd ever get married, but I said, no, my husband's going to help me in the kitchen and he's going to do this. And in our culture, no, the woman does everything. I'm like, why?
Yeah. That's the rebel in you. I love it.
Yeah, it's a rebel in me. But
But it,
now I think when I say no, I just say, this is not right for me. I'm
yeah.
not doing it. And I'm doing this because this is right for me. And you don't have to agree with me. I don't need you to agree with me. I
Yeah.
don't need your permission. I don't need your permission to be happy. Don't need your permission to do what is right for me. Again, if you're listening and you want to do something in your life and you feel in your gut, in your heart, that this is the right thing, it does take courage to go and do something. But if you know that you're supported, the universe is going to send you the right people.
And ultimately, if you listen to this and you're thinking, well, they're not really talking to me. Actually, I always say we are 100% talking to you. If you're having that in your mind, and look, you may have people in your world that you're saying, well, there's no way I can put me first. You've got to start with something. And it's like, as soon as you do that, everything in your external is a result of something. So everything in your external is a result of something in your internal. So you have to change something internally before your external. So you have to be selfish.
Yes.
So Lina, as we come into the end of the episode, I'll include your details in the show notes and all the rest of it for people to reach out. And you're very, very soon going to be in a different country, but how can people reach out to you? How can people connect? What does that look like?
I write a blog, which is wellnessandwellbeing.org. I've also created some free resources, some paid resources, making wellness as simple as possible, but you have to take the first step. I'm on Instagram, Lina Patel, Wellness Ambassador. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on most of the social media platforms. And you can email me at wellness, letter N, wellbeing at gmail.com as well. But if you go to my blog, the details are there. And if you want to learn more about the 3-minute reset, the calm code, I will send them to Nimesh and you can start your journey with, will also lead to Yoga 360, which is yoga beyond the mat as well.
I love that. Yoga beyond the mat. I love it. I love it. Selena, thank you for sharing your light on this pod. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing so vulnerably, sharing your light. And, if this episode inspired you, triggered you, it was meant to. And please use it as an opportunity to really, truly focus on yourself. This is a challenging time energetically, but it doesn't have to be complicated. The moment you choose, the moment you ask 100%, it's like, ask for help, ask for support, be open to it. And the universe really does love you, really does want to help you, but can only help you if you ask. Lina, I'm going to hand over to you to close us out. For any words that's in your heart, I'm going to hand over to you.
Just a simple thing that you can do to return to the moment is just take a breath. Close your eyes, take a breath, do the affirmation. Love begins with me, and now I am love. And remember, the universe is there to support you. So again, like Nimesh said, ask for help and the universe will send you everything you need. It will conspire in your favor.
I love it. I love it. And as we close out this episode, I see it's 555 Time-Wise UK. I love the numbers. And, if Lina's voice, her story resonated, please do reach out. If anything, if my voice resonates, I always say it's a soul contract. If you feel I can help you, support you, then again, please reach out. Thank you for being here and shining your light, Lina. Thank you for everyone that's listened. Thank you for the universe for your help and support. Sending so much love and light out to everybody. And bye for now.
Namaste.